Okay, there we go. Now we're actually recording.
Hello.
The first topic I have is thoughts on mods as far as weapons go. Obviously, I think everyone's going to be using strikers, and I think the clap and the increased time on what's it called? I can't remember.
The Tempest form.
Tempest form. Thank you, man. I think those are just going to be the ones to use.
Yeah, that one's a staple because even without the damage boost, when you have that, okay, so your Karma Breaker is 35 seconds and the Tempest is 30 by default. So if you extend it to 40, if you put that on first and then do your Karma Breaker, they'll run out at the exact same time. So it's really convenient for squeezing in claps and knowing exactly when you're gonna have to rebut.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Also the fact that you get that extra damage when it's near end. So your last clap is going to be doing that juicy damage.
Yeah, that's a nice bonus.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I thought Echo was pretty strong back before they nerfed Karma Breaker, but now I just don't think it's worth taking at all. I don't think we can get enough crit, especially by yourself, to make use of it. Any other mods that you want to call out for any of the other weapons? Any kind of like maybe
usually for chain blades you have that staple serrated blades, but with the Aether cheese, or if you just want to break pylons in general, the demolition blades or whatever it's called is pretty good.
Yes, very true. So yeah, demolition blades on chain blades for the cheese for the Aether pylon is definitely needed. Other than that, yeah, I can't think of anything that you would go out of the ordinary for any of the weapons. So the drop timing I've been using is I was waiting till 1% danger, popping pots, and then jumping. I was trying to beat him up a little bit. I like that little bit of extra time on him before he does his charge to get in some free damage. I don't know if that's the correct way to start it out, but that's what I felt like I liked.
For strikers, I think it's worth it to try and drop right in on him and have him wait.
Yeah, just get those buffs up and running.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing about drop timings for this one in particular is that it changes when he does his darkness. So I think if you're having troubles with when he pops his darkness, you can drop it at either an earlier or later time.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, so I don't think it matters too much for this one. I think generally darkness is going to be bad no matter what time you're doing it. So I think you, me, and Heltrix all use the exact same build.
Yeah.
Which is just 6 Conduit, 6 Predator, 6 Rage Hunter, 3 Berserker, 3 Discipline, 3 Overpower, and 3 Sharpened. I think this is probably the best build for when we all did our times with the one shot. I think I'll probably go back and try with the one shot removed to do what we did last time, where we do low HP without discipline and then just tank a slide.
Yeah, I do like that idea, but like just now Shanks asked me if I wanted to try that, and really the best you can gain is like maybe a wild frenzy, but then you got to drop some other stuff or a little bit more over. And the overpower is not that good in the first place, but the crit discipline is. With
this trial, I've definitely been I think Pangar is the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
Potions. I think definitely whenever you're using Pangar or Lantern, I think you should be using Aether Tonic.
Yeah, for sure, because the only exception would be like Pike, I guess, because if you're using a low life discipline build, Frenzy and Blitz are a staple every single time. So really you're just deciding between Stagger or 8. And the only time Stagger is good if it gets you a stagger that you wouldn't otherwise get.
Yes, always attack speed, always damage. The third one is the only one up for a debate. And then obviously in groups, you got to have someone bring the damage pylon, which is obviously
of course
the third slot.
Yeah,
I don't think that changes for anything else in the groups though.
Yeah, builds is really just one person conduit, one person engineer, and then everyone else just slams as much damage in as they can.
Yeah, exactly. And weapons you think are viable for this trial?
Sword is pretty good. You block out just everything he throws at you, and because he's hard to stagger, you get huge uptime on the deflects. Strikers, of course. Chain blades are great because of the Aether cheese, and then if you really try and use anything else, you're really just handicapping yourself.
You don't think pike would be viable?
Nayzaga thrashes around so much you don't get to do your pike finisher and get in the big damage.
Yeah, it seems it would be really hard to focus just one piece or like all of his pieces with pike. Like I think you can do it with strikers just because of how much mobility you have, but with pike I feel like it would be really hard to try to get the wounds going.
Yeah, in a lot of trials, hammer is number 2, but it has the same problem here. You don't get your finish. He doesn't let you get to it, so you don't really do anything the whole time.
He attacks too fast to get your full combo out with hammer. And then I'd also say axe is not viable for any sub 3. What about repeaters? I actually think repeaters are viable too.
Yeah, that's what people did first cycle. You could probably sweat out a sub 3 because you get really easy to flex on the pylons, but I really only play repeaters if I can just throw down the full bores all the way, like a Charog and Quillshot.
Right.
This guy's kind of small, so you can, but it's a little sweaty.
It'd be a little bit hard to get 3 hits with full bore. I actually think you should actually use salvo with repeaters in this one, because it keeps you with better positioning.
Yeah, and you can use your pylons.
Yeah, and I know the first time I used salvo, it like demolished the aether pylon. Once you're in the trial, parts to focus, I think head is obvious for that stagger damage and part break, and one of the legs. I think I was trying to focus the left leg, but I don't think it really matters which leg. Are you focusing the same parts?
It really just matters how you get him away from the pylons, because if he both puts them to the one side, well, first of all, lucky you, and then you're going to want to hit the leg opposite those, so he just slides away from you and you can hit that one.
Yeah, well, so like one of the strategies is to stay near his head so he doesn't spawn pylons, but I don't think you can stop it forever, right? Eventually he's going to spawn pylons.
Yeah, he does it after he does I don't remember what it was. It was like if he does the same move 2 times in a row or something like that. But he'll eventually get them down.
Okay, any specific timings you wanted to call out? Timing I wanted to call out was his Aether timing. He pretty much goes in Aether mode about 1 minute, and that's when you should be killing him.
So yeah, that one can be delayed a little bit with part breaks and his enrage ending, but about 110 every time. Yeah. So yeah, about 110, you get to throw down the damage because he throws it out and then he does his little zap. And then he spins around, so you get a lot of free time there.
Yeah. Before
impending doom.
Yep. And I think that's true in groups as well. Aether timing about 110. Maybe a little bit sooner, maybe a little bit later, but pretty much once he goes Aether, if you're doing the cheese strategy, you definitely want to be focusing that pylon down. And after that, it's a free win.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's not getting it back up. Any mistakes in your run that you made? In my run personally, I swung at this guy for a little bit. I lost.
What do you mean, like punching air?
Yeah, just straight hit.
I did that a little bit actually.
Yeah, it always feels bad. It was the 2 big hits too. The
last. Oh no.
Yeah, it felt bad, man. All right. So strategy inside the arena. I think the main strategy for me, at least, was just stay near his head, don't let him spawn pylons, and focus the pieces that I want to focus.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about it.
Simple. This trial is honestly really straightforward. Some of the other ones I think are a lot more complicated, but this one, his attack pattern is just so easy. You just dodge his attacks and
it just makes sense.
Yeah. He doesn't really have any kind of really complicated attack patterns. He's just sliding around on the ground.
You're just swimming.
Yeah. All right. Top times this week. What are you thinking? What do you think will be required to get on the boards? I'm looking for both. What do you think will be like top 1, top 5, and top 100 for both solos and groups?
So for groups, it was 28 seconds last cycle was the best. So I know the gang is going to be going to beat that one.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to push for it, maybe try some pred strats or whatever.
28 seconds, that seems really hard. I would say if they made that last time, I would say probably 25 seconds this time for number
Yeah,
one.
probably.
And what do you think is going to be the top 5 teams for groups? You would need to get to stay top 5, I think, for groups.
Yeah.
At least. If not even like you said, like the 28 to 25 might be the top 5.
Yeah, so that's a good assessment for groups. And then solo, I think 54, I had like no crits and I had a little bit of wasted time. So we'll see if Rod or Shanks can get like maybe 52, I would guess, with 2 breaks.
I think 52 is like the platinum.
Yeah, if you get the 2 breaks and kill it in 6 claps instead of 7 because crits, and you just waste less time like I did.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think 52. I think 54 already is going to be hard to beat. I think 52 is definitely doable after watching your run. I don't think you can do much better than that though.
Yeah.
And I think for top 5, I'd probably say
I think everyone's gonna have sub 1s.
Yeah, I think sub 1 minute to 50 seconds, I think, to stay top 5 this week. And then what do you think is going to be required to stay on the boards for groups and solos?
Groups is definitely gonna be sub 2 with everyone doing the pylon cheese strat.
I would almost think that 130 would be the cutoff then.
Yeah, probably because people are getting their pylon slam in. So maybe like sub 2, sub 130.
Yeah, I was thinking like 145, but this was with the one shot mechanic. With them nerfing it, especially.
Oh yeah, people are gonna be up now.
Yeah. So I think definitely 130. I would even say if you want to be safe, I think you got to get like 115.
Yeah.
Because I think people might even push it and bring it up to like 120 to stay on the boards. That's going to be rough, man.
Yeah, probably not your week to get top on.
Don't do groups, guys. All right,
but then solo,
man,
maybe sub 5. I don't know what people are up to. I haven't scrolled down on solo board.
I think it's so hard to tell at this point because and whenever this goes up on YouTube, by the way, right now solo boards is not full. Solo boards is very empty.
Wow.
I think I checked this morning. It was 29 people that had completed
on day 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, usually on day 2 it's full. It's hard to say how much the one shot is going to motivate people to try it again. But I would say if people are really motivated, I think you definitely would need a sub 3. If they're not motivated, sub 5 might be able to keep you on.
One thing I wanted to say on the trials was for the sweaties, record your run, see what you did wrong.
Oh, good. Look back through your runs and improve on it.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to add.